Imagine for a moment that everything in your life, the relationships you have, the energy you feel, the results you get, could shift, not by chasing the next big breakthrough, not by finding some secret formula, but by doing one thing differently every single day. One habit, one choice that repeated over time compounds into unstoppable momentum. Most people underestimate the power of this. They think it's just a small thing. What difference could it make? And yet it's in the small things that giants are born. The truth is, your life today is a reflection of the habits you've ignored, tolerated, or embraced without thought. But the exciting news, the electrifying news, is that the same principle works in your favor. One habit chosen deliberately, practiced relentlessly, has the power to rewrite your story, to create energy where there was stagnation, clarity where there was confusion, and success where there was struggle. Tonight, I want to show you how to harness that one habit, how to turn it into a lever that can move every area of your life. This isn't theory. This isn't motivational fluff. This is a strategy that, if you commit to it, will not just change your day, it will change your destiny. Every single day, we make hundreds of choices, most of them so small and seemingly insignificant that we barely notice them. What time we wake up, what we eat for breakfast, whether we scroll mindlessly on our phone or take a moment to breathe, whether we respond with patience or frustration. These choices may feel trivial, but here's the truth. They are the foundation of everything in your life. Success, happiness, health, and fulfillment don't come from one massive leap or some miraculous stroke of luck. They come from the consistent, repeated decisions you make day after day. One small choice may not seem like it matters today, but compounded over weeks, months, and years, it becomes the difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of extraordinary impact. Every great performer, every person who has achieved monumental results knows this secret intuitively. They understand that the trajectory of their life is shaped not by isolated moments of brilliance, but by the habits they nurture quietly behind the scenes. The power of small daily choices is that they are under your control in every moment. You don't need a plan that stretches years into the future. You don't need permission or perfect conditions. You just need to make one choice, one intentional action right now, and then another tomorrow. And the effect of those choices is exponential because they compound. Just like money grows when invested wisely, your life grows when your energy, your focus, and your actions are invested in the right direction consistently. Most people underestimate this. They think change has to be big, dramatic, life-altering overnight. But the truth is, big results are usually the outcome of small decisions made with discipline over time. Each decision, no matter how small, is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of your future. Some seeds grow quickly, others take time, but the harvest will come, and when it does, it will reflect the care, consistency, and attention you've given. Imagine choosing today to wake up 15 minutes earlier to plan your day, or to speak with encouragement rather than criticism, or to read a few pages that expand your mind. These small choices seem inconsequential, but their effect accumulates. They shape your energy, they shape your mindset, they shape the environment around you, and they shape the opportunities that show up in your life. Every day you wake up is another chance to decide consciously, not reactively, what kind of person you want to be. And as you do, you will notice the subtle shifts: more confidence, more clarity, more control over your circumstances. You will see that the life you desire isn't a distant dream. It's built piece by piece, choice by choice, moment by moment. And it begins with acknowledging the profound power of the small things you do every single day. Consistency is the invisible engine behind every extraordinary achievement, the quiet force that separates those who dream from those who actually live their dreams. Most people think motivation is the key to success. They wait for inspiration to strike, for the mood to feel right, for some burst of energy to carry them forward. But motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather, unpredictable and unreliable. Consistency, on the other hand, is like gravity. It doesn't care how you feel. It just works when you commit. It's the act of showing up day after day, even when the excitement fades, even when the resistance rises, even when the world seems to conspire against you. That's the science of consistency. It's not about doing something perfectly. It's about doing it persistently. Repetition builds patterns, and patterns create identity. Every time you follow through on a choice, every time you take a deliberate action toward your goal, you are telling yourself and the universe who you are and what you value. Over time, those small, consistent actions accumulate into momentum that can feel unstoppable. Momentum that becomes self-reinforcing. Think of the most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders you know. They didn't rely on motivation alone. They relied on the discipline to show up, to practice, to learn, and to refine day after day. They understood that breakthroughs are rarely dramatic and sudden. They are the result of countless repetitions, small experiments, and consistent effort that compounds invisibly until one day the results become undeniable. Science confirms this. Neural pathways in the brain strengthen with repetition. Habits become automatic when repeated consistent. Skills become refined, confidence grows, and resilience is forged. The brain begins to expect and reward your consistent behavior, making it easier to keep going and harder to quit. And yet, most people sabotage themselves by trying to leap ahead without respecting the process. They want instant results. They want short shortcuts, they want magic. But magic is built on consistency. Showing up over and over again, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, is the real secret that the majority never embrace. When you commit to consistency, you create a rhythm in your life. You create predictability in your actions, clarity in your intentions, and trust in yourself. You begin to see the compounding effect, not just in your skills or your results, but in your confidence, your mindset, and your identity. The science of consistency is simple but powerful. It is not the occasional heroic effort that defines a life, but the small, intentional, repeated actions that shape your destiny. The victories you seek, the mastery you desire, the life you dream of, they are built incrementally, invisibly, silently, one committed choice at a time. And once you understand this, you realize that consistency is not a burden, it's your superpower. Your habits are not just actions you take, they are a reflection of who you believe you are. Every single choice you make sends a message to yourself, consciously or unconsciously, about your identity. When you wake up and choose to exercise, when you speak with integrity, when you take a small step toward a goal instead of procrastinating, you are affirming who you are in that moment. Conversely, when you give in to excuses, distractions, or negative patterns, you reinforce the limitations you believe define you. The real power of changing your life comes when you realize that habits aren't just things you do, they are the building blocks of the person you are becoming. Most people try to change their circumstances first. They chase results, chase validation, chase a life they think they want, and they believe if they achieve these things, they will somehow transform themselves. But it doesn't work that way. Change begins on the inside, with the way you see yourself, and habits are the bridge between who you are today and who you want to become. When you adopt one powerful habit consistently, you are essentially rewriting the story you tell yourself about yourself. You shift from being someone who hopes for success to someone who embodies it. Identity is not a destination, it is a continuous practice. Every habit you perform either strengthens or weakens the version of yourself you are cultivating. This is why small, seemingly insignificant actions matter so much. They are the threads weaving the fabric of your identity. The difference between people who struggle to change and those who transform their lives is often not talent, resources, or opportunity. It is identity alignment. When your habits align with the person you want to be, change becomes natural, almost effortless. You no longer have to fight against yourself. Instead, your daily actions flow from your identity, and each day reinforces it. Imagine seeing yourself as someone who is disciplined, focused, and resilient. Every habit you take that reflects that identity becomes a reinforcement, a statement to your mind and body that this is who you are. And as your identity strengthens, your confidence grows, your decisions become clearer, and your results accelerate. The power of identity and habits is profound because it turns external change into internal transformation. It shifts the paradigm from chasing results to living the life you want by becoming the person capable of producing those results. Once you understand that your habits define your identity, you stop blaming circumstances, waiting for motivation, or seeking shortcuts, because you realize the truth. To change your life, you must first change yourself. And that transformation starts with the daily choices, the habits, and the actions that shape who you are. Every single day, every one of us faces resistance. It shows up in subtle ways, whispering doubts when we try to take action, creating distractions, procrastination, fear, and excuses. Resistance is not the enemy, it is a signal. It is your mind and body alerting you that you are stepping outside your comfort zone, that you are moving toward growth, and that transformation is waiting on the other side of discomfort. Most people hear the word resistance and shrink from it. They believe that if they avoid it, they can maintain peace and safety, but in reality, avoiding resistance is how dreams die quietly. The path to extraordinary results is not smooth. It is littered with challenges, setbacks, and moments when quitting seems easier than pressing forward. And this is where the greatest truth about human potential lies. Resistance is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that you are moving in the right direction. Every time you feel that inner friction, that mental tug of war, it is an opportunity to choose courage over comfort, action over stagnation, persistence over retreat. The science of human behavior shows that the brain naturally seeks to minimize effort and avoid pain, which is why resistance feels so real and heavy. But the same brain can be trained through awareness and deliberate action. When you face resistance instead of running from it, you are rewiring your MIND, building mental toughness and strengthening the habit of taking control. Imagine the moments in your life where you hesitated, where fear tried to paralyze you, and yet you pushed forward. How often did that single action change the trajectory of your life? That is the power of overcoming resistance. It is the gateway to growth and the gateway to every extraordinary life. Overcoming resistance does not mean you eliminate fear, doubt, or difficulty. It means you develop the skill to move in spite of them. It means you commit to action even when it is uncomfortable, even when your mind screams stop. It means creating a momentum that the inner critic cannot stop. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to confront bigger challenges, to seize bigger opportunities, and to expand the limits of what you believe is possible. Resistance, when approached correctly, becomes a teacher, a guide, and a marker of progress. It is an invitation to grow, to rise, and to claim the life that is waiting for you beyond the familiar boundaries of fear. Every great innovator, every high achiever, every person who has transformed their life has had to stare resistance in the face and refuse to back down. And the remarkable thing is, the more consistently you face it, the smaller it becomes, until eventually you begin to realize that resistance only has power over you if you allow it to. Every action you take sends ripples through your life and the lives of those around you. You may think that one habit, one choice, one small shift in behavior affects only you, but in truth, its influence radiates far beyond your immediate awareness. The ripple effect is the phenomenon that turns small, intentional actions into exponential impact. When you commit to a single powerful habit, you are not just changing one area of your life, you are creating a chain reaction that touches reality on ships, opportunities, mindset, and even the energy of the people around you. Think about it. When you show up with discipline, integrity, and purpose, others notice. Your family feels your presence differently, your colleagues respond to your energy, and your community begins to resonate with the example you set. Even subtle changes, like choosing gratitude over complaint, patience over frustration, or focus over distraction, can cascade into outcomes you never imagined. The ripple effect works silently, invisibly, but powerfully. It doesn't require recognition or reward. It doesn't wait for permission. Once you take the first step, momentum begins to spread. Habits are contagious, influence is contagious, and the life you cultivate becomes a model for others. The challenge is that most people underestimate the magnitude of their influence. They believe that small actions are inconsequential, that one choice won't matter, that they have to make some dramatic, heroic gesture to create impact. But the truth is, greatness is often quiet, cumulative, and persistent. One consistent habit, performed day after day, can create a ripple so strong that it changes your career trajectory, strengthens your relationships, improves your health, and enhances your mental clarity. It is like dropping a pebble in a pond. The initial splash may seem small, but the waves travel far beyond where the stone landed. The ripple effect also extends inward. As you commit to one positive habit, your self-esteem grows, your confidence strengthens, and your identity aligns more closely with the person you want to become. This inner transformation fuels even more positive action, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that accelerates growth in every dimension of your life. You start to notice opportunities, make better decisions, and attract people and experiences that resonate with your elevated inner. The ripple effect is a reminder that nothing in life is isolated. Every choice matters, every action matters, every moment matters. And when you harness the power of one life-changing habit, you unleash influence that goes beyond your immediate awareness, touching lives you may never meet, creating an environment where success, growth, and positivity are amplified. The extraordinary truth is that your life is never just about you. It is about the waves you create, the influence you have, and the legacy you build through consistent, intentional action. And once you embrace this, you realize that the smallest choice, when made deliberately, can generate impact far greater than you ever imagined.